Text lies at the heart of virtually every website. Images and decorative elements are of course important, but most of the time visitors to a website are looking for information which is usually contained in text. To make that content easy for both visitors and search engines to find, text needs to be organized logically with headings and paragraphs. In Dreamweaver, create a new HTML page and save it in your exercises site as text.html. Now I recommend that when you're inserting content you should always have split view open so you can see what's happening in the underlying HTML. So click the split button in the document toolbar if it's not already selected, so you can see both the code view and design view. Every web page needs a title, so in the title field of the document toolbar select Untitled Document and replace it with headings and paragraphs. And when you click back into Design View, you should see that the title changes in the underlying code. Make sure that the focus is in Design View. You can tell that the focus is there by the cursor flashing. And just start typing. As you type, the same text is put between the body tags in the underlying code. Sometimes there's a little bit of a lag. Make sure the focus is still in Design View with the cursor flashing and then press Enter or Return. And as you do so, you'll notice that Dreamweaver adds p tags, paragraph tags, around the word's main heading. Then it adds a new line with another pair of p tags, and in between this placeholder ampersand NBSP semicolon. That's an HTML entity which stands for non-breaking space, and it's simply a placeholder. As soon as you start typing, it will disappear. At the end of a sentence, you of course need a space, so if I press the space bar once, I'll get a space. But if I continue pressing the space bar, look what happens. Several spaces have been inserted in Code View, but there's still only one space in Design View. And this is the way that HTML works. It ignores extra spaces. In fact, it ignores extra lines. If I click into Code View and add a few extra lines, and then some more text, you don't see anything in Design View while I'm typing there, but as soon as you click back into Design View, the text appears after that single space, even though there are extra lines in here. This isn't a bug, this is the way that HTML and browsers work, and you'll learn later in the course how to control layout with CSS. Now I want this first paragraph to be a heading, so click anywhere inside that text, and then in the Property Inspector, the Format menu currently shows Paragraph. Open that menu and select Heading 1. As you do so, those P tags are replaced by H1 tags, and you can see that the main heading is now bold and in a much larger font. Now click at the end of that paragraph and press Enter or Return to get a new paragraph. This time we want to make it into a subheading. You can also create headings using keyboard shortcuts. They're Control with a number on Windows and Command with a number on Mac. So for a level 2 heading, it's Control 2 or Command 2, and then start typing and press Enter or Return at the end of that heading, and you automatically get a new paragraph. In this paragraph, I'm going to type a longer sentence. Now notice as soon as we got to the edge of the page, it automatically wrapped. And if you resize Design View, you'll see that it continues to wrap automatically. This automatic wrapping is extremely important for web pages because you never know which size browser they're going to be looked at. It could be on a desktop, it could be on a small mobile phone, or something in between. Paragraphs fill up all available horizontal space, but you'll learn later how to control the width of paragraphs with CSS. Let's add another heading underneath here. This time we'll go for a level 3 heading. You should never really go below level 3. And we'll add that little heading there. And this time I want to insert an address. Pressing Enter or Return at the end of each line will automatically give a new paragraph, which is not appropriate for an address, so we need to create line breaks. And you do that by holding down the Shift key as you press Enter or Return. So let's make contact with Dreamweaver. And at the end of the line, Shift Enter or Shift Return. That adds a BR tag, and we can continue typing. And another Shift Enter or Shift Return. So in the underlying code, the whole of this address is in a paragraph, but it's got line breaks at the end of each line. But you should never use the BR tag with Shift Enter or Shift Return to reduce the amount of space between paragraphs. Always use paragraphs for logical groups of text. You can control the vertical space between paragraphs very easily with CSS. So that's how you create headings, paragraphs and new lines in Dreamweaver. The page's main heading should be in an H1 element. Subheadings should be in an H2 element, and if you need another level of heading, use H3. You rarely, if ever, need to use H4, H5 or H6. Organize text logically in paragraphs. Pressing Enter or Return at the end of a heading or paragraph automatically creates a new paragraph, and browsers wrap text automatically, so don't use Shift Enter or Shift Return to break a line unless it's essential, such as in formatting an address.